mortgage is far beyond our expectation.
It's the safest way of owning a house.
My mouth is full of appreciation to Federal Mortgage Branch.
Compliments of the season and welcome to another episode of the program, Everyone Deserves a Home, a program sponsored by the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, showcasing its efforts towards providing easy and affordable mortgage options for ordinary Nigerians. I am Kauthar Anumba Khalil. Towards meeting its objectives of providing mortgages for contributors to the NHF, the FMBN has state offices that are equipped to carry out its functions. The overall goal is to make sure that NHF contributors in the state have access to FMBN products and can own homes without going through the head office. The state offices have performed with optimal results, and today we shall be assessing the Plateau State FMBN Branch office to see just how well it has met the needs of NHF contributors residing in the state. We will take a short break, and when we return, we will commence the program in full. Please stay tuned.
On behalf of the board, management and staff of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, we wish to felicitate with our esteemed customers and stakeholders on the occasion of the Christmas and New Year celebration. We thank you most profoundly for your continued support, loyalty, and faith in our ability to meet your housing needs. As the apex mortgage bank in Nigeria. As you celebrate Christmas and the New Year, the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria wishes you a season filled with joy, love, and personal fulfillment in all your endeavors. From all of us in Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, we wish you all Nigerians happy Christmas and a prosperous New Year. Thank you all.
Let's begin this episode with news highlights from the FMBN Diary. In our lineup, House Committee on Habitat approves FMBN's 2023 budget, just as FMBN reassures cooperative societies of its support in providing housing and mortgages for contributors. Stay tuned for details of the stories.
The Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria has appeared before the House Committee on Habitat, Federal House of Representatives, to defend its 2022 budget implementation, as well as present the estimate for its 2023 fiscal year. The Managing Director, Mr. Maduhamman, who went in company of other top management staff of the bank, started by giving a rundown of the 2022 budget, how it performed, as well as some of the challenges the bank faced during the year.
This just gives a brief highlight of the major heads of our budget performance for 2022. Number one is business loans. So we had budgeted 138.19 billion for 2022. However, in terms of performance, we've only been able to achieve 57.04 billion, which is about 41% performance. This performance, which is below expectation, is as a result of suspension on some of our major business loans, which the bank had budgeted to embark on in the year 2022.
He further presented the proposed budget for the 2023 fiscal year and highlighted some areas the bank will focus on in the coming year.
We will also vigorously pursue the recapitalization of the bank and to continue with our cost containment measures, and then aggressively pursue debt recovery and also pursue completion of ongoing projects to achieve growth in the mortgage sector. and then creation of strategic business units that will help us to actualize our 5-year strategy blueprint. The major highlights of the 2023 proposed budget in terms of business loan, our proposal is for 126.2 billion in terms of fresh loans in 2023, which is just a 9%, is a 9% decline on what we budgeted in 2022. However, in terms of the performance of budget of 2022, it's more than double what was actually achieved in 2022.
Chairman of the committee, Honorable Mustapha Dawaki, who spoke earlier, disclosed that the committee had constituted an ad hoc committee to investigate and come up with a report that will help the committee assist the FMBN streamline its activities.
And we have an ad hoc committee that we constituted, which is chaired by Right Honorable Ganil Johnson, which is with some members, and also they will come up with a report that will also look at the kind of collaboration that we have with the Committee of Parliament, that we can assist them to streamline whatever we see that it needs to be streamlined.
Second this motion as moved that the proposal be approved. I still second.
If now approved by this committee. Thank you.
The Managing Director, Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Moduhamman, has called on cooperative societies to be open to accessing mortgage loans as an easier means of owning their homes. He was speaking at a one-day workshop on the implementation of the Federal Integrated Staff Housing FISH program, known as the FISH Cooperative Scheme. Hamman was represented by his Special Assistant, Dominic O. Agabi, presented a paper on the topic, the role of the FMBN in funding housing cooperatives. Agabi said housing is one of the biggest challenges civil servants face, and lack of adequate mortgage facilities makes it even more challenging.
It is common knowledge that housing and housing finance is globally recognized as a challenge for the government in both developed and developing countries. The challenge is traceable to shortage of cheap long-term funds that is suitable for housing development, the attendant high cost of housing delivery, and the absence of regulatory and legal framework that are open to mortgage development, to mention a few. It was in consideration of the foregoing that FMBN had explored opportunities to provide affordable mass housing through cooperative societies. This, however, got a boost in 2020 when the Honorable Minister of Works and Housing, His Excellency Babatunde Fashola, launched the National Cooperative Housing Initiative, NCHI, a national housing program aimed at integrating informal sector cooperatives into housing delivery, with the FMBN as an implementing agency of the program.
Agabi further noted that the core function of the bank is to provide mortgages, but it has had to engage in housing delivery to bridge the housing gap.
The function of Federal Mortgage Bank is to provide mortgages, home loan mortgages, to contributors to National Housing Fund. If things were working as encapsulated in the law, Federal Mortgage Bank has no business to do with construction financing. We have no business with that. That is the business that FHA and other agencies of government should have been doing. And then when you subscribe to the houses that have been built, which means there's an existing housing unit that has been built, and you have been pre-qualified, like Maoga has said many times, then you approach Federal Mortgage Bank that I want a mortgage to pay for my house.
The potential of the cooperative is so enormous, not only when you are in the service, but post-service.
Other speakers harped on other areas such as the importance of affordability and equity in gaining access to mortgages.
Good to have you back. The program is Everyone Deserves a Home. In our next segment, we'll be measuring the impact of the FMBN in Plateau State to see just how much the bank has deployed its services to meet the housing needs of NHF contributors in the state. We shall highlight number of contributors, beneficiaries, efforts at making refunds upon retirement, number of housing units constructed, among other yardsticks of measuring the impact of the FMBN. Stay tuned.
Plateau State, North Central Nigeria, is commonly known as the home of peace and tourism. Jos is the state capital and it is home to an estimated 3.5 million people. As with other states of the Federation, there are contributors to the National Housing Fund scheme resident in Plateau State, and for easy access to the scheme, the bank established a branch office in the state. The mandate of the state office is to mobilize, register, and manage NHF contributors as well as ensure the good delivery of NHF products to its contributors.
Our scope and mandates cuts across registration of employees and employers in the organized public and private sector. Then we're also responsible for collection of the National Housing Fund contributions and rendering accounts for all the contributions received. We are also responsible for refunding contributions made by contributions upon retirement, death, or incapacitation of a contributor. We also ensure excellent customer delivery on our products and services.
To properly manage the National Housing Fund, the FMBN in the state enjoys a good working relationship with stakeholders in the state, and this partnership helps with the management of NHF scheme in the state. Owing to this partnership, Plateau State has a good compliance level to the NHF scheme with about 35,000 active contributors cutting across ministries, departments and agencies as well as the organized public and private sector. To meet the needs of these contributors, the bank has engaged in the development of estates to assist the contributors become homeowners. The Cooperative Housing Development Loan is a popular product for meeting the housing needs of contributors. 3 estates are currently under development for various cooperatives. The Ministerial Pilot Housing Scheme is another product the bank is leveraging on to develop houses for its contributors. Some of the projects in Plateau State include Radio Nigeria Highland FM Cooperative Estate, University of Jos Cooperative Housing Estate, Amber Aura Cooperative Housing Estate, Public Housing Estate, FMBN NLC TUC NECA Housing Projects. The branch office has a mandate to ensure that these estates are not only developed but constructed to meet quality.
That is why we have specification, and we try to adhere to that specification at each stage of work. We ensure that what the specification of the project is being adhered to. That is why we have a continuous routine at each stage of work, ensure that what is designed for, we're able to achieve as when due.
FMBN came up with this creative idea of having the exit in mind. And when I mean exit in mind, they don't just want you to build, they want you to build, and of course you have people of taking. So as a result of that, they came up with cooperative development housing loan. Cooperative development housing loan, meaning that, okay, you already have cooperative members who are contributors to the scheme and they want to benefit from the scheme. Of course, at the back end, the cooperative supply the land, FMBN supplies the funding, and of course accredits a developer.
Aside developing estates, other mortgage options have been made available for contributors through the home renovation loan. MDAs in the state have largely benefited from this scheme.
In Plateau State, not only is the state government beneficiary of the home renovation loan, also we were able to bring in the local government also. They are fully into it. And also other federal government parastatals that their head office are here, also are also into the scheme. You know, the product speaks for itself because most of the people that have received, I think, is a more on mouth-to-mouth advertisement, because the more we pay, the more response, the more we have more people keying into the project. So the product sells itself on its own without even we going out to do sensitization. It sells itself.
One notable thing about Plateau State is its reception of the individual construction loan. Plateau State so far has the highest number of beneficiaries of these products.
The individual construction loan is going on very well on the Plateau, and the people of the Plateau, in fact, they cherish it so much, owing to the fact that it's a loan product that they have an opportunity to build their houses, to get money directly from Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria at a subsidized interest rate of about 7%, construct their own houses. And you know, they have the opportunity to supervise their own houses.
Plateau State Branch Office has other plans for the benefit of NHF contributors in the state. Top on the list of this is to ensure the timely response and more efficient service delivery to its customers in the states.
On behalf of the board, management and staff of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, we wish to felicitate with our esteemed customers and stakeholders on the occasion of the Christmas and New Year celebration. We thank you most profoundly for your continued support, loyalty, and faith in our ability to meet your housing needs as the apex mortgage bank in Nigeria. As you celebrate Christmas and the New Year, the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria wishes you a season filled with joy, love, and personal fulfillment in all your endeavors. From all of us in Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, we wish you all Nigerians happy Christmas and a prosperous New Year. Thank you all.
Thanks for staying with us. The program continues with a beneficiary whose dream of home ownership has come true. He is Mr. Isaac Tena Liman. Let's hear his story, the processes he went through, and how he feels about owning a place to call his own. Keep watching.
I can assure all Nigerians that if you apply, once it is available, you will get.
Definitely the scheme is real.
It's a big testimony to stop paying rent.
Excellent. Seriously excellent.
It works and is real.
Mr. Isaac Turner owns this beautiful two-bedroom bungalow at the FMBN Latte Housing Estate, Karu. As a staff of the FMBN, Mr. Turner has always assisted other people to own their own homes and never gave much thought to owning a place for himself until he got tired of paying rent.
So I paid the 10% to Latte.
He tells us some of the processes he went through to acquire his mortgage loan.
I met with architect La. So he now showed me the houses they have. So I visited the site and I checked. So I decided to pick this particular house. It was still under construction anyway, but I loved the place and I now picked this house. So he told me I will have to pay for the 10%, then they will now package my loan. By the way, it was a Platinum that was packaging for Lape. So I paid the 10% to Lape. They give me allocation.
Mr. Turner says he got his house at the cost of 6.5 million naira only. He says the price of the house is good enough, especially in tough economic times like this. For Turner, owning a home is altogether a beautiful experience, as he doesn't have to bother with having to deal with a landlord.
When you don't have a house of your own and you have to be living at the mercy of other landlords, I tell you, it can be very frustrating, because every time your rent is due, your heart starts beating because you don't know when the landlord is going to visit. But since I became a house owner, I've rested. I am not under any apprehension that, oh, my rent will run out and then the landlord will come disturbing. I am very convenient. I'm very comfortable. I'm very relaxed. I feel so free.
The happy homeowner tells us of the repayment plan, which he describes as a suitable arrangement for him.
When I saw this option of rent to own, I quickly switched to rent to own so that they will process everything and I will start repayment immediately. Even if I have a salary of, let's say, 100,000 or even 70,000, but housing is a very key component of any human being. So if I decide that half of my salary I should be paying for my mortgage, I don't think there's anything wrong, because the other one I can now be using it for feeding and other stuff, and then try to see how I can get other sources of income to be able to take care of other aspects of my life.
He has a call to beneficiaries of the scheme.
For people that have benefited, we have this obligation to tell the world out there that the National Housing Fund is a reality. It is working.
Our question for the week is, are my NHF contributions refundable?
At retirement, you are entitled to the refund of your contribution with an interest of 2%. The contribution is separate from the loan that is given. The contribution just enables you to be part of FMBN customer. And once you are that, you benefit from any of the products. And we refund you when you retire at 2% interest rate.
That's it on this episode of the program, hoping that you have gained more knowledge about the mortgage system of home ownership. Why don't you stop by at any of our branch offices to find out how you can become a beneficiary of the various loan products through the National Housing Fund scheme. Also visit our website on www.fmbn.gov.ng for more information. Keep a date with us next week, same time, same station, for another exciting package of the program. Here's wishing you a Merry Christmas. Bye.